Hey guys, it's Russell Miller here. Um, I don't know if you can hear me. That's the only thing about this, but I'm on the live part of my computer. Um, I just want to see one thing. Um, Sorry, everybody. Sorry about this. Hold on one second. I apologize. All right, sorry about this. Um, I just wanted to kind of send something out to let people know I was live, but no big deal either way. Basically, I was just, this was a video I was going to do based on Jeff Nadu, and I wanted to touch base. I don't want to get involved in the mob tube drama per se, but I want to do actual content creators. I've been staying away from, all the Soulflow, Angel Gotti stuff. I don't have the mental capacity for all that madness. And just as I predicted, as soon as he was gone, people are going to start digging at each other. And I'm going to leave that alone. I did think Common Sense and them did a great show on deep diving on MRE again, just to remind new people that, you know, I mean, I didn't know how much I missed. I know about MRE hard. I did a lot, you know, if I happened to be around watching YouTube when you guys exposed MRE in the past, but um, just going through people's libraries now, just times I was in rehab or the psych ward, I missed a lot. From day to day, this YouTube stuff changes bad, and I just wanted to talk about a few things. One is Jeff Nadeau did something very bad, terrible, which I'm sure people caught on to. It was the most ridiculous video I think he ever did or anyone ever did on MobTube. But then tonight he did a good video that exposed Dominic Cicale. Now, I've never exposed Dominic Cicale or questioned him, whether people are calling it a rug pull or a Ponzi scheme, whatever the hell he was doing with that coin. I'm not into Bitcoin as it is. I've been told by financial sources that the CIA invented Bitcoin in reality. So, I mean, I've never, unless you want to use the dark web, I see no reason to own Bitcoin. Anyone who disagrees with me, that's your business. I'm not a financial advisor, and I don't pretend to be one. Um, the only thing is when this Costa Nostra coin came out, I definitely didn't take it seriously because um, because it's just, I mean, it was a joke to me. A Cosa Nostra coin, like a Bitcoin, but whatever. Okay, so anyone who took it seriously, I'm not shitting on you or saying you did anything wrong. So we'll get to that in a minute, actually. I just want to, Jeff Nadeau, I'm, I think I'm going to give you a pass as a fan of yours, just as somebody that doesn't you are feeling yourself, and you were pissed off at something Angelo Ruggiano said about you yesterday, but I know your knowledge as a fellow historian, because I believe I know more than you and can put on a better show than you if I had the content and the backing and the how you started. You're up to over 250 shows probably by now, And I think you're almost at 100,000 viewers, and God bless you. I think you deserve it because you usually put on a good show. I think you call out fraudsters a little ahead of checking sometimes, but most of the time you're right. But to call Anthony Ruggiano, Fat Andy's son, a fraudster is I mean, people aren't going to fall for that one. That's a stretch, and especially when it came out later that you were mad at him about something. He said something to you that you didn't like. But I mean, the guy did like 15 to 20 years in jail. I know that. Somebody slapped his mother. Boom, he went to a boss and got an okay and whacked the guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and he's Fat Andy Ruggiano's son. I mean, there's so many things. Even if you take the son factor out of it, because Junior Gotti is John Gotti's son, but he's not anything anymore. So I get it. But even if you take all that stuff out of it, um, you know, uh, I just don't. Hold on one sec. I just don't. Sorry, I just don't see. Hold on. Shit. That sucks. This is scheduled at 3:45. Okay. Um, I just don't see what you were looking to get out of it. I guess. Until I get this right. Um, okay, so um, the real thing is like, how do I say this? So I'm sure people have done shows on it. I know for a fact Gunsmoke. I think Harry came on this morning, and I think ripped Nadu a new asshole. I'm sure I didn't watch it, but I'm assuming Harry knows that Anthony Ruggiano was real because I know that, and I don't even have to watch Harry's response. I just know that. Um, and I think that's covered. You know what I mean? So I want to get to the one thing Jeff Nadeau did good, which was tonight. He really went in on Dom Cicale, and I think it's because Dom Cicale finally admitted. First of all, I was going to do a show on Dom Cicale, how shocked I was he ran out of content so soon. Um, because he should have much more content than this. And if he's waiting for people to die to give content, then just go off the air. What's the point? Instead, you're going to come up with this kosher Nostra coin and take people's money. Don't get me wrong. I'll never accept more than a $2 tip, but I put my phone number out there somewhere: 516-675-0096, and that's to Zell Russell Miller. That's the only way I'll accept money, and I won't accept more than $2 unless I put on a really good show. So I'll accept a tip. I get it. I don't bash anybody who asks for money on here, and I never have. Um, the only thing I ever said was I don't deserve money because you guys are giving me the therapy by letting me be on here and giving me a platform to get some stuff off my chest. So tonight was I just happened to watch this Jeff Nadeau thing, and I was very mad at him at first about the shit he was talking about Ruggiano. It was ridiculous. He should delete that show and chalk it up to emotional, being pissed off, and having a personal vendetta at somebody. But whatever. Let's say he doesn't. Dom Cicale, I was surprised enough he ran out of content. Um, very surprised. His shows just started really. I don't know. I can't explain it, but um, one thing I do know is uh, he came out today and just said, a couple of weeks ago we noticed some discrepancies in the coin. Now, I have personally watched his show like maybe 5, 7 days ago, where he just said, hang in there, guys. It's just like a stock. Now it's low, buy low, it'll go high. And I have no skin in the game, so I just was curious to see how it would turn out. And I'm one of those people lately who I don't let my ego or my jealousy or anything get in the way. I'm really learning to root for people. Like I was excited when John A. Light became, a councilman in New York, New Jersey. I thought that was great. And when I hear people accomplish things, I think it's great. I think Gunsmoke did a great job on his show about that Biggie Smalls thing. I thought that was great. Stepping out of your comfort zone and making a move and doing something. I thought of FBS doing the politics shit. I think that's great. I've always told him that, even though I'm freaking blocked on his show. But no big deal. I'm just always gonna bust his balls that like he's like my favorite dude on here, and he has me blocked, and it's just fucking annoying as fuck. But whatever. But yeah, I think I'm happy for everyone on here that's doing well. Uh, Even this guy Shug, I have no idea who he is really. I was in his chat one time, and he had like 300 people in his chat, and that's like old school, like fucking FBS numbers and shit. And I was fucking whatever. I'm happy for him. I don't know. I not unless he's a dick. I don't know. He came all kind of weird to me, but that's not my business. Um, I will say, what's it called? Um, So whatever. So this Tom Cicale thing, I just stood on the sideline and wanted to see and root for him, and I kind of wanted to. I was kind of hoping people were wrong and people were going to make money off it. Why not? And I thought it would be good for even MobTube as a whole. Even though I'm kind of shying away from the MobTube stuff and the drama like this, I'm kind of shying away from even giving my opinion on this stuff. But I was going to give my opinion on Dominic anyway because I was shocked how quickly he ran out of content. And I didn't even care about the coin when I was going to do that. Um, because, Dom, if you're holding any content back, hurry up and get it out there. Your show is fucking gotta be falling apart. But that's not even where I'm going now. Now I'm like, you know what? These people might have got fucking robbed on here. He might just, it's like he's now on here doing damage control. It's like back in the 90s, I was a sports handicapper for these guys that were lunatics in my town. They just gave me a job. So I had a job to go to during the day. When my parents were home, I was like fresh out of high school. It was probably like the August after I graduated. And I remember going to an office. I used a different name. Steve DePay, I remember, was my name. Um, and by the way, these guys are still doing this right now. My bosses from back then well, I went to high school with them and graduated with them. And I just didn't have it in me. I had to actually get drunk every day just to do this job. But we used to have a hotline and we would get incoming calls from gamblers and then call them back and give them picks for money. Like I think Jeff Nadeau even used to do that. And I remember I liked when I lost a game because I would that there was a pitch for that. Even it was okay, we got the loss out of the way. Everybody has to lose sometimes. Thank God I finally got my loss out of the way because I've been doing so good. Now let's go crush them. Give me $5,000. Call your bookie, send him 10,000, and pick this team and this spread. And so you always had a rebuttal for everything, and you had to face it face on. It wasn't until the very end where you just used this guy so bad that you just stopped answering his calls and disappeared and ghosted him. And now with social media and all, it's impossible to ghost somebody like that. You have to pretend you're dead, and you still can't do it. Like I tried, remember, so it's like, um, so I don't know what he's gonna do. Right now, he's getting in its face and trying to do damage control. He's apologizing, but saying, "Hang in there, we'll figure it out." But what's he gonna do 6 more months from now, a year from now? You know, um, and that's really it. The other thing I wanted to talk about was Cuba. People are talking about politics. I don't even want to get into the Epstein stuff because I don't even know what's real and what's not. You go on one channel, you see one thing, it's just like everything else. Whoever, like I literally looked at my wife today because she hates Trump, and as she's reading this stuff off her phone, I said, "Wait a minute. So you're telling me, our president of the United States is the worst thing in the world, a pedo? Like that's what you're really telling me? I mean, you can't really be telling me that. I mean, you wanted to impeach him for tax fraud or something, but now you're going to let him get away with being a pedo." And I voted. I like him. I did like him. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but I'm not even ready to look into that yet and deep dive it. I'm still reading my books on history, and what I read about Cuba today was killing me. It just shows how the governments, I could see how easily America can fall because, you look at Fidel Castro, and if they just would have helped, Batista begged the mobsters to talk to the government because the government owed those guys, Meyer Lansky, Luciano, they owed them one from World War II. They helped them out. Everybody knows that. Um, there was no more sabotage after the Normandy boat got struck on the New York harbor, and they helped them give an outlay of Italy. So you know, they could have kind of. John F. Kennedy was such a pussy. He should have went with the Bay of Pigs invasion and helped those guys. He sent a couple thousand Cubans to their death. He was supposed to follow them with air power and boom, 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 and help them out. And they went in there, boom, boom, with guns, and ended up having a military conflict in the jungles of Cuba with no air support that was promised to them by our government. And shame on us. I don't blame any Cuban for hating us after that because Fidel Castro, look at how many people he lost when he took over. Everybody's dancing in the streets. The mobsters are running out of there with suitcases with thousands of dollars falling out of there, trying to get on the next plane, hiding in the mountains in houses. Socialism, a socialist movement, can never, once it becomes a government, there is no socialist government. It becomes automatically communism. So people that followed, Che Guevara uh, and I'm going to talk about this more tomorrow when I have people here and stuff like that. But people like Che Guevara and Fidel Castro. A socialist movement that succeeds ends up becoming a communist government, just like a liberal movement kind of turns into a socialist movement if you have the wrong people. In this country, they're all fucked up, the liberals. It turned into a deep state fucking mess of a fucking, they're just as bad as the Republicans. They have their own scam for money. The Republicans have tax cheats and this and that. The Democrats get funding for things like global warming and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like they all have their scam and they're all billionaires, including the Clintons and the Obamas, who I thought was a good president, Obama. But this Cuban thing was crazy. We could have had a whole nother economy going, a whole nother country that could have been part of us, and we just blew it. And it was because of Kennedy. Kennedy sucks. And I'm not saying the mob killed Kennedy. I haven't even. I was so bored during that Kevin Costner movie when I was a kid that I didn't even research. I don't even have enough research on the Jack Ruby and the, since when do mobsters become martyrs and have balls to do like suicide fucking missions? Like Jack Ruby just. Where is Jack Ruby right now? I don't even know if he's in jail or they caught him and he died in jail or they shot him on the spot. I don't even know. But I'm not saying the mob killed Kennedy. That's my point. I don't know. They might have, but they should have. I think he was a terrible, terrible president. And I also want to talk tomorrow about Richard Nixon being one of the best presidents and how he got fucking scammed. There's a clip on YouTube you can watch with Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan are talking about this, and it's Tucker Carlson spitting facts, and I researched them, and because you can't go to CNN and Fox News anymore, you got to go to these independent guys who I just started learning about. I still don't even memorize their names. I have them written down in the other room. But if you go to these guys are spitting facts. But anyway, I'm going to go to sleep. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk to you about Richard Nixon, Watergate, Cuba, John F. Kennedy. That's my goal. I'm going to ask anyone who has information on this whole Dom Cicale thing to come forward. And I'm assuming you're all going to agree with me for once, at least on the Anthony Ruggiano. I think we can all agree he was a real mobster, and Jeff Nadu just had a bad day. And that's it. So thank you all. Have a good night.